Okay, so it seems like I have a bunch of things that I want to talk about. So let's see how well I can keep it straight. They kind of go together, so but I feel like I can get lost easily on this because it's like a lot like popping off in my mind. One of the things is like where to start. Where to start? Oh, where to start? Like the weather here is outrageous. It's ridiculous. Like it's so frigid cold. This wind that has just been going and going. This nonstop raining and raining. The ground is so freaking wet. And where was it? Oh, in Turkey. You know, so they had another earthquake, right? And so this footage, and I'm not sure, I think it was after this second big one. But so it happened in the middle of the night in the dark. That's what keeps happening in a lot of places. And so there was all this shaking and all of this stuff. They said it seemed like something had crashed or something. And so when they got up the next day, this whole big thing that used to be like a prairie where there was I think olive gardens or olive field. It was something, maybe grapes or some kind of thing that they had, like vine growing thing that they had all over the place. And then, so it was long, 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 long that it was like that. And it was like a village, I don't know, like people lived on either side of it or something. I don't think people lived right in the prairie part or whatever it was. But anyways, it shifted and it opened up. So it separated in the night. Well, all these people are just laying there like wondering what's happening as the ground is shaking. It separated like it did over in Africa. I think it was in Nigeria. All of Africa is splitting the whole way down. So over here in Turkey, which I would like to look at that map. There's so many maps. You know, it's weird too how I was just talking about this wind thing, and there's something I want to talk about with the map, another map. Like you can go look up the EPA, the map that regulates our air control. Go look up that one. Like I knew. I mean, they watch way too many fucking maps. They're like, we get a map on this, get a map on that. Let's watch this. Let's watch that. Like they know every motherfucking thing they're doing. Like they know where to hit, what wind is going to travel in which direction, which, because it's guided by mountain ranges and stuff like that. Like they know how to go into certain areas and get things moving. And I think that is strategic ways of where crashes have occurred. And there's always more to this stuff. I mean, there's going to be a whole thing about trying to make trains are not safe. We got to get rid of the trains because they've already started on that in another place. I don't remember, it's Pittsburgh or something. Like there's so much going, But the big thing is for any of us, to just stay, tuned into ourselves and taking care of ourselves. Like we're under such fucking attack. It's crazy. So the air thing, I'll talk about that still in a minute because I still wanted to see. I knew I was going to get all over the place. This was just like way too many things. So here, where all of this wind and stuff, like I feel like I don't know, like I've said. I mean, and even knowing that people can get up in the morning. I mean, somebody can have trees going over them, like, I mean, in a lot of places, it's a certain amount of people that are killed. Like, maybe not everybody's going to be wiped out in the whole place, if you get my drift. But it popped into my head while I was saying that, and I went back out again. Let me think what it was. So the people who... oh yeah, so in Turkey, so it is this long, long ravine now that is split, like a giant valley just opened up, went a long, long, long ways. And all the villagers and stuff are out there looking like something biblical just happened, like their ground shifted and changed shapes. Their landscape changed shapes. When they went to bed, they got up on a whole new landscape. That is, I mean, this whole thing, I mean, when I saw that, I was like, it goes exactly with what I was saying. She's shifting. She's moving around. She's getting comfortable. She's like, and if you're not comfortable on me, then you better get the hell off because there's no more fucking around. Like the people who don't give a shit, the people who are more concerned with, you know, what they're going to wear to the party than they are about other living things on this planet are going to find out. You know, we're shifting out of that energy, that superficial, artificial energy. If that's what you're attracted to, associated with, if that's all that you have, then you'll be too uncomfortable. Like, and each person has these, like, all these things keep blowing up in everybody's faces to show them so that they can see the truth. But, you know, depending on their connection to themselves and to this world is the challenge that lays before them through this game. So, so let me say, okay, of that, because there was a whole thing about, so in Niagara Falls right now, this woman was getting footage of explosions. She's lived there 15 years. She said, this is not the fireworks show or anything like that. She said, I've been through tons of fireworks. This is shaking our houses. And you could hear the explosions. You could hear them. She had that. And she said it's shaking the windows of their houses. Their houses are all shaking and stuff. She says it's underground. And, you know, and every time you try and say that to anybody, like the stuff underground that is going on, and then you hear, yes, they are down there fighting still and exploding things, whatever's going on. And I know there's something over here with that whirring sound, that woo, woo. There's something under, and then the ground shaking and stuff like that. And, you know, we have been in, like under assault over here for a long time. Because it's crazy how I'm seeing these people who were talking about these different things that I've been talking about, all these same things. Like I've seen person after person now getting their water out of their faucet and they've got some sort of stuff in it, all sorts of things. Like there's weird bubbly things, there's weird color things, but there's oil slick stuff. What I kept saying is like there's something oily in the water here. I kept saying that about our own. Now I got all these people saying, there's something oily in the water, something oily in the water. People noticing there's something oily in the rain. How long was I saying? There's something oily in the rain. There's something oily in the snow. It's not normal. And that I think it's, I mean, they always have a lot of reasons why they do shitty things. But I said, you know, I think it's part of the reason with these giant pileups. There's something extra slick in this water substitute, whatever the fuck they're spraying on us. And the, and then I get these people who just come into my comment, like this one comment, this lady, the other day, she had done some video and you could hear this loud, woo, 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 really loud. And so I went in and I said, I hear that too. And I can feel it in my chest. And I'll have my house rattling and stuff. And then I'll go out and try and listen. And then it'll be like these other sounds will start, like something's interfering, but it's like done on purpose or something. Like the army is going to be working under the ground. And so then it's like all this construction is going to be going on, you know, but that doesn't mean the construction workers know why they're doing it. It's like, you know, they're just told that they're supposed to go do something that day, so they go do it. So it's more like that. But you could tell, like, that there was this other sound. And so, anyways, I commented, and a whole bunch of different people were saying the same thing. It's like, I hear it too. I hear it. It's weird. And it's like they keep putting a sound, like, over it, trying to mask, like, people saying the exact same thing as me. And then there's this person, and I swear to God, it's the same person. And they keep messaging me and saying, she did another video. She said it was a helicopter. Would you people, like, I don't know, would you people stop saying this stuff? And, you know, one of those kind of things keeps messaging me. It's like, oh my God, you people who want to just stay in your fucking, with your closed mind, stay there by yourself. Like, you can't just keep everybody else's mind closed and, you know, nothing's going on. Everyone just sit here and wait for the next fucking sickness to be dumped on us, the next fucking tragedy. Just like in that fucking movie, Free Guy. Like, that's what they do. That's how they have fun. Being the gods over us. And I just heard this whole thing about that whole Woodrow Wilson speech thing. And I had heard this speech a bunch of times, but I had never knew what it had come from. but about the whole thing that we would, and it's even in a song, some rap song, and it has this whole part where it says this little paragraph, and that I think is where I had heard it. And then I heard the thing today, and it sounded like Linda Moulton was saying it, but it was some paper between some guy and Woodrow Wilson, but talking about we were going to all have to register. We wouldn't be allowed to work. We were going to be their slaves, their chattel. It's this whole thing. And it was written in 1913 or something, I guess, when they started Social Security, and we needed to register when we were born so that we would be able to get Social Security. It was all a scheme, a scam. It was all a fucking thing. So, and it was all for the banking system to enslave us, to keep us paying them so that they could live off of us, you know, constantly trying to get ahead when we can never get ahead. Because, for one thing, getting ahead is destiny. It's not something that you can just fucking go and do. It's either written or it's not written. Your experience is written the way it's supposed to be. So therefore, you are chasing something that is never going to be yours. You've got to open yourself up to what is yours and allow it to happen and to show you what you're here to experience. Not constantly chasing something, constantly trying to force something, constantly trying to control something. It is an endless, no wonder. And they even say to get people to feel helpless and hopeless. It's like, yeah, it's all that it has been done is us chasing our tails and feeling like shit. And then people feeling like shit about themselves. And then they get it more complicated with dividing in families, and then getting people bouncing around with their weight and stuff like that. Like, that is a thing. You know, to just disrupt your health and your hormones and stuff, which they are masters at. It's like their whole fucking, you know, one of their joyful things to do. But on this map thing, the EPA one, so this word, I'm sure, you know, I'm sure that they're going to tag this word for sure. So I'm going to kind of do a half spell, half say. And it is what the vinyl, you can look it up, it's what the vinyl turns to when it is hit with another thing. Like I've said it a bazillion times, it's all about these different chemicals layering on. They use like water to activate, heat to activate. It's all fucking, it's so fucking chemistry class. It's just all around us. And so that is what happened with the vinyl. That ended up, so when you started on fire, it turned into another thing that is the most deadly thing in the whole wide world to humans. It's the most deadly, and 100%, like, there's no hope. This is that thing, remember, where we were going to, like Juan used to say, it's going to get to this point where it's like there's nothing, like we're fucked. We're just fucked. And like that is where we're at, but it still is like, I thought it would be so much more like faster, more abrupt, which there still can be something that is going to be like, we're going to hit a wall, like the lights come on, something really abrupt, and then it shifts and everything goes the other direction. And so the with the let me think back where I was, because now it was two things merging. Hold on. So I'll go back to the map. Oh yeah, because so what it turned into, the word I was going to say. So it's D-I, and then if you put an X, I think is the next word. I know because there's D-O. So D, like duo, only with an I instead of U, and then an X, and then on. So I'm pretty sure that's the compound that it goes into, but you can look it up. You can, all this stuff you can look up. If I'm saying the wrong word, it's like, you know, you got to go look it up if you want to see that, you know, what it is. I just heard the word and I can barely, like, that's part of my brain injury. It's like, I have to write it down, but you know, it's better for anybody. Don't just believe something because I say it, you know, go and look it up and see. And then so it starts sinking into your head. You're not just listening to somebody, so you start actually seeing like, oh shit, they really are doing this. They're doing fucking chemistry right over our fucking heads. And they're doing it. So this one comes down with the water. then it goes back up, and then it comes back down, then it goes back up, so he said, we're stuck in this trap now. We're just going like that. Then when you look at the map, the EPA map, or whatever, our air control map, then you go on that one, and it shows the air movement, how the air is moving, and it shows the numbers. So a couple days ago when I saw it, all the numbers were high over by New York and Massachusetts and stuff over there, and it was all high number, all real yellow, and so they already got doused. And so now when you go on and look, the yellow pockets, which are really big, they look like big clouds of stuff in Alabama. So vortex, be careful, because so it goes down, it's going to go everywhere, so it's going to be like everywhere in America. Again, it's already up in Canada too. And then when you look at how the air is circulating, like the guy who's looking at all this stuff, who's like, he's freaking out. And he was like saying it's going towards the west now. It's moving across that way. So it's going to get everybody, like these chemicals. And so Alabama has a big thing, but Georgia has a huge cloud over it. In North Carolina and South Carolina, so there's a lot over there. And then they're up, and there's some more little ones, but there was like a big amount over there. So it comes down and it gets in the dirt and the soil. It gets into the water. And once we're exposed, I mean, it's you can't get rid of it. Something about it, I don't know, it regenerates itself or something. And you can look it up and understand how to explain it your own self. Like to me, it's one of those things like plastic. It's like one of those things you can't kill. And the same thing is what they kept saying about those with those 4 letters that start with an M and end with an A that we're not allowed to talk about. So that where they said that would mess with that and it wouldn't be able to be fixed, and all these people like blah blah blah. And then now this is the same thing where once you have it, now you're just you've got all this in you that is not going to go out, and it causes liver cancer, like all sorts of stuff. Liver cancer is like a big one, I guess, that it keeps hearing, and it's fast, which all of the things like I think we don't want to be sick a long time. Like, this has been horrible being sick for a long time. Like, it's like, it's the irony behind, because I said, I'm going to fucking get one of those things. I'm sitting here with some slow death. So it's like, oh, we got other tricks up our sleeve. We're just going to dump it on you, put it in your water, put it everywhere. So there's no getting away with it, or away from it. And another thing, even when we were talking about like safe places to go or places to be or whatever, that's the thing, is that there isn't like this one place where you could go and be safe. It's not like, we have to come in. We're here for this experience. We're here to go through this very tragic movie. Like, it's very it's a very exciting ending, really, if you go through and not just go into like what we're going through presently, but the whole thing for the story of these monsters and the defeat, and how they're being defeated. And it's kind of like their own horribleness is it's like you couldn't even hide their horribleness. It was like too much out there. Like, they had to trick us and lie to us and stuff to keep us confused, which all that stuff is going to come back on them. Like, I swear to God, like as a soul energy, like you have a soul who's gotten themselves into like a Rockefeller Rothschild situation, like some of those. It's like, bug, maybe I would just say, like, put me back in the recycle. Like, let me try again. Maybe if I get a little bit of something nice in me, maybe I'll not be so, because that is going to be a lot of hard shit to come in and have to go through to clean up that energy, like, to put things back in balance. That's how I think it works. Like, you have to cut, like, all of the stuff they did, like, they got to feel that now. So you got to get the other side of it. And it's like, oh man, how is it? But see, and that to me is where you get that idea of being in hell. Like you're so fucking rotten, then you are in, you are, what is that word they're always saying? Not committed to hell, destined to hell, thrown in hell. Like you are expelled to hell. You know what I'm saying? I can't think of the religious word, but that you're put into hell. Well, if you think about it, when a soul goes and does all this rotten shit, and you have put all of these things, like Hillary's. You think about her as a soul, and putting all of that stuff into a certain direction, and then all of that coming back, that you have to like experience. It's like you have to experience what you put out into the universe. That kind of is like basically, that is like the whole thing with the life review. And I think, you go through enough of that stuff, like you just know it. Like you're not going to let the world tell you something doesn't exist when you know in your heart it does. So I think with the life review thing shows us like it matters. You go in and you experience for yourself, not for the judgment, but there's a balance. There's a balance in the universe that has to be maintained. And so anyways, I don't know, there's a lot of these people who are got themselves into really deep karmic debt. I don't know what else to call it. Like there's so many things like that you have to use these words that because I don't know what else to say. So many things too, like when you try and explain them, it's like there's not words to really explain what you can see, and then to try and say what you see, it doesn't always like make total sense. And then plus it has to be based on resonance. Like you have to be able to understand it to really see it. Otherwise, it's just going to sound like a bunch of words. And, but anyways, so the dye stuff, not funny, that is spreading all over the place. And there's, what is that? Well, anyways, on the air thing, when he was showing that map and it was showing how the wind, like it was going this direction here, and then you got a big pocket, so it spreads it out going all this way, and then over here you have this, and it's going this direction, so it's spreading it out going this way, so it's all over, it's meeting everywhere. So it will be, everybody will be getting sick. Like man, whatever is with my hair and stuff, like right now, whatever, a couple weeks ago when I felt like guitar strings pulled too tight or something, like it's even more now, like I don't know, like thread, when it gets like maybe electricity or something in it, and it gets all like, anybody who sews, who's had a lot of threads, knows how it can get all bound up in that thing. Like there's something, I don't know, there's something weird, which I think too is an interference purposely, because they know hairs are antennas. It's, it catches the energy that's going around, whether you can translate it or understand it, accept it, acknowledge it, or whatever. That's, each person. Some people just like, I don't know, they can't hear any of it over their own screaming voices in their head. That's why it's so important for you to tame your own demons and to tame the voices in your head and silence them so that you can hear the other ones out there. Because the ones that you have got screaming at you, they're usually just ones that want to keep you trapped, not expanding yourself. So they kind of beat you down and ridicule you. Oh my gosh, I can't believe how many people now, after I had just said that the day before to my daughter, when I sent them those pictures, and I was just having a conversation about like looking back at yourself as a kid and how you can, as an adult, when you look back, you're just like, all of a sudden you're just hit with this like, I can't believe I was so mean to you. Like, it's crazy. And that whole little thing. But now, like, oh my gosh, so many people with this new filter going in, having these emotional moments, like, oh my God, can't believe I was so mean to you. I just want to be your friend now. And all this stuff, But it's like, and what's so crazy too is like, I think it's important for us to acknowledge, our beginner self, our younger self, just like, part of my dark night and stuff, like just really understanding that the Kelly I was, the one that, died when she went into the hospital, that it's like, that gets me so emotional, but she did. Yeah. She did, though. And she went through a lot, man. And so when we can get to that kind of place, I think, where we can acknowledge and see ourselves from this kind of observer perspective, to have empathy and compassion and see, like, well, we weren't who we thought we were. And we were, like when I look back at that, Kelly, and I'm like, man, she went through so much, but I know her pain, and other people, don't know what somebody else carries inside. So anyways, you have to go through and, not be mad at yourself, not shame yourself, just the same way as you can look at your teenage younger self and say, God, I wish I would have been nicer to you. We got to do that to our young adult self, the part of us where we were making choices that were not good. We weren't making good choices for ourselves. We were making bad choices because we didn't love ourselves. And, and we had to, have some hard things happen so that we understood, that we weren't loving ourselves. We have a choice here. We can make something different. We can change our life. We can learn to love ourselves. We can accept ourselves, just as we can hear someone else's story and accept them. We can learn to accept ourselves and love ourselves and appreciate where we've been and where we are now, where we've gotten to. I don't know if there's mascara on my thing. I can't see, like, I keep like shifting into like a whole bunch of eyes and stuff. It's so weird looking sometimes. Sometimes I turn into little slick creature. It's really weird. So, anyways, but the thing is that I think is really significant during this, and I had just heard another guy explaining too about the higher self connection. He was explaining it, a lot like how I explain it. And so I was like, yeah, see, that is what people to see. And then when they've got all this stuff about talking to their younger self right now, they got to realize you're talking to your higher self, your more advanced self, the part of you who's already gone through this, the part of you who's going to tell you what's going on. But that doesn't mean they're going to give you every little detail. They're going to tell you it's a need-to-know basis. That's the thing. And it is part of the mastery of the relationship is the trust. The trust. I mean, it's like you got to trust yourself. It's the same thing. Like if I would have gone back and talked to, teenage Kelly and been able to sit down with her, that's basically what your higher self is doing, and trying to sit down with you and help you to grow through this stuff and to communicate with you and help you to figure out who you are in the future, who you are once you let go of all of this stuff, and bring you into this place of power. But it is a mastery. It is a path. It is a way towards enlightenment. Well, the power went out. So anyways, I will try and put this, oh, it's back. Okay. It was so windy. Wow, I didn't even stop it. So yeah, it's so windy. I've been shocked that we haven't lost the power more. I think that we're going to, And this was something I saw too. This woman, she was talking something about a Jewish New Year or something, like something significant was going to go down. Like she was explaining like biblical stuff, like we're at the same time as when this happened as compared to when they were being poisoned. I don't know, it's Bible story stuff. And the 22nd today and the 23rd, which she said to that would be the 3 days of darkness. And she goes, I don't know, I'm just telling you like how this aligns with these numbers. So I don't know if that's going to be when it goes down, but that in the Bible thing, that these dates were when it went down. So I don't know. It's something about the Jewish New Year or something. I don't know. It's another thing you can just look up. There's so many people that go in and do so much different research over so many different things. That is, I think it's so interesting. You can go in and listen to all these different people's stuff that they research. And then so many people, they just get so caught up and everything's a lie. Everything's a lie. And they don't want to believe anything. But you're holding yourself back. You don't have to believe everything. You just have to open yourself up and then let things, like I've said a million times, that things for me, like my trust is way beyond what other people have. My trust with the universe, my communication, like I don't doubt it. Like it's been going on for my whole life. Like I would be an idiot. I would make me more mentally ill, like, than what people think I am talking to these people if I wasn't, because they have been talking to me. Like, I would have to be in such crazy denial to not see. And the only thing, like, I know people are like, well, she just talks to herself. She doesn't know. Then how the fuck would I tell myself things I don't know? And why in the hell would I sit and argue with myself about things and try and show me both sides of how things are going to happen and open myself up? Like, I wouldn't know these things. It would come from nowhere. Even the stuff about this person that they showed me I was connected to, I had no idea about that. Like, there's a lot of things now. Like, once I start talking about some of this stuff, there's a lot of things I've put together now. But, it's your relationship with yourself, if you're trusting, and your communication. And, it's crazy how some people, they don't want to believe that you have it because they don't have it. So then they want to hold you back from yours. It's like, no, you can do it. You've got to trust. But so many people have so many obstacles up. It's the obstacles of ego. Like, oh, someone's going to think I'm crazy. Someone's, if somebody doesn't give me evidence, it can't be real. It's like, there's a difference of needing evidence and having instincts. Like, having evidence, needing evidence. It's like, I think it could get you killed out in the wild, Well, I need the evidence. I don't know. Is there hunters out here? Give me the evidence. Okay, you'll get the evidence. I'll just get it right there in a bullet in the heart. Here's your evidence for you. It's like you need to use your awareness, your discernment, your instincts, this connection. Like, how, and it's rough. Like when I say it, like I can feel things. It's not like I could just hear something or whatever. No, I can feel it. I can feel stuff in my body. I can feel a car coming. When it turns down my road, I can feel it. I can feel the buses. Like I can feel this stuff inside of my body. My body starts like vibrating or shaking or something. It's like I can feel these things. Like, and then you have people come in and tell you like, oh, don't trust that. Don't listen to it. Don't listen to your instincts. Don't trust your senses. No. Listen to me. I'm telling you, I've got evidence and none of this stuff is happening and stuff like that. It's like totally wacky. And it's like, why in the world, like, would you go around trying to convince people of something, especially just these people who don't understand, instead of just going to, like to me, when I see the guy doing the kinetic thing with the moving the tinfoil, I'm not going to sit there and go, that's impossible. I've seen so many people doing that stuff. Oh, that because I can't do it, so therefore it can't be done. Oh, no, I know I can do a lot of stuff that people can't do. I know my connection to this world is way different than most people. Like, I know Like, and the reason I know is because I hear people, what they say, how they look at things and how they think. And it's very different. And so, yeah, I'm not going to be restricted by somebody else's, you know, chains that hold them back from being able to think outside the box because they're so worried somebody's going to think they're crazy. I mean, and you see that all the time. Like, oh, I don't want people to think I'm crazy. Well, I'm not even kidding you. How many people just on TikTok? Well, I want to talk about this UFO thing, but I don't want to hear people think I'm crazy. It's like, oh my God, you guys. And how many people still going on? Oh, I really want to apologize for how I look. I know I look hideous. I just look hideous today. My hair's hideous. I'm hideous. Please forgive me. But I needed to tell you about what happened last night. It's like, oh my gosh. There's so many strange things. Like, you have this whole group of people who, you know, they want to be out there having a mask on, flossing their teeth, maybe eating some chips and you know, cucumbers on their eyes, like all sorts of weird stuff, telling you serious stuff. And then you have other people who get all fixed up, and you have other people just apologizing. Just such an array. But it is, I think it is the array of development of learning to love yourself, you know, and people, I saw this video yesterday of this guy, and he was talking about, you know, women, you think men want you to do all this stuff to your hair and all this makeup and stuff. And he was going through all this stuff, like what women will do. They'll spend all this money trying to do all this stuff. It's like, you're not doing it for men. They don't care about it. He's like, we don't care about your weight. We don't care about like all this stuff that you think we care about. We don't care. All we care about is having a partner that is a true partner, somebody who's really there for us, somebody who really cares about us. You know, somebody to cuddle up with when we go to sleep. Like they want a real connection. You know, it doesn't matter what the package is. And see, there's more and more people that are speaking out about that, and more people coming to that realization. Is like, and if you're somebody who's out there just putting this whole phony persona out there, you're going to be drawing in phony personas. So don't sit there and bitch and complain about it. So many of those people, like, you know, if a guy who is true and authentic doesn't want to go out with a girl who has, you know, tons of lashes and extensions and spends an hour and a half putting on makeup and stuff like that, then, you know, you're going to be going with a guy who wants you to do that, who wants you to look a certain way, who expects you to fix yourself. It's a totally different relationship when you're with somebody who's all in their own ego and they need you to represent them. And so they'll put pressure on you to look a certain way. Or you can, you know, have people accept you for who you are and wait, you know, because, you know, you will come into a lot. It totally is about vibration and stuff. Like, if you're going out in a vibration trying to date, when you're a low vibration, then you are dating to learn to love yourself. You're dating to learn where you don't want to be. You don't want to end up in that low vibration relationships. So you're going to go through those relationships to raise your vibration. But see, not everybody can raise it. Some people just get in the dumps, go down. Like, some people just do themselves in. Some people just become addicts. Some people become angry. Like, it's a challenge. We're in a game. So then you know, if you can meet the challenges and overcome all the obstacles and, you know, continue to grow, then you will raise your vibration and then you will meet. And that's why I've said so many times is if we started training kids from the beginning so they didn't have to go through this life of turmoil, if we start teaching them from the start what's important and what's not important, and if we start respecting each person as a soul, not as, you know, defining them by their age or something, recognizing, no, this is a fucking grown-ass soul. It may be in a baby body, but it's a grown-ass soul, or it wouldn't be in a body at all. It would just be out there free energy looking for something to attach to. So, you know, we need to, but there is a part where the person has to develop and get to a certain stage. It's all part of it, and it's part of the other of us, the caring for something, like it's all part of this the cycle, the circles of life. It has a different connection than how we, I think, have been connecting it in a more profound way, where we can, have better relationships and feel better about ourselves. That's the big thing, is how many people just feel like shit about themselves. And it's so unnecessary. So we start getting people a different way of growing. Then they don't have to go through all these shitty relationships to learn how to love themselves. They can learn to love themselves and then just go out into the world, and they'll, to me, I've always just met the person, like just met somebody out. Anytime I've even tried to date or something, it's always been weird and creepy and awkward. So to me, it's always just been like you and this person just somehow collide somewhere in the world. Like, suddenly you're just there, or somehow they see you, you see them, whatever, however it goes. That's how it's always been to me. And so, like, I am not one of those people who are like all into the dating, and then plus the empty sex thing, and everybody looking for something, like shopping online for a partner, and I don't know, I think it's weird. But and another thing too is the footage with the people out partying, like at Mardi Gras. Like, I didn't even know Mardi Gras was even in Alabama. Like, it's just everywhere down there. Like, I don't even know how many parades and stuff are going, and how many of these different ones are in different countries, like right now. Like, I don't know what all these different celebrations are. And some of the parades, like, you see, and it's just like a parade, and you have dancing and music going down and people on the sides, just standing there watching and videoing and stuff like that. It is the footage that I had seen in New Orleans, where, just a bunch of drunk adults, drunk, overweight adult, like that, just nobody looks like they take care of themselves. Nobody looks like they care. Just out there drunk. And the thing is like, because I believe that we need to get into our childlike self. We need to be free flowing with our higher self and our child self, whatever that's called, your child self, whatever, I can't think of what it is. But you need to be free flowing in there. You need to be comfortable with just being out there, just showing yourself like you are when you're a kid, just being you. And the thing is, with those people, when they're all out there doing this stuff drunk, then they aren't doing it because they're connecting to themselves, and they're waking up being embarrassed by their behavior because they were drunk. They weren't doing something because it came from inside them. What comes from inside them, but it's the spirits that come inside them that get them to, do things, and then they are embarrassed. Or some people get drunk just to do things, just so that they can blame it on alcohol when they have every intention to do certain things. Like, I've known lots of women, I'm going to go out to the clubs, and they're going to purposely get themselves drunk and talk to some guy to go home with them, just so that they can be like, well, I was so drunk last night. It's like, how many times are you going to say that? Like, who are you trying to trick here? Like, you're not tricking me. Like, I've seen it. So, but people have to be honest with themselves. And it's hard to be honest with themselves because they're needy. They have some kind of need inside of them that needs connection. It needs to feel loved and appreciated, just like we all do. But we all keep going around about it the wrong way. And so I gotta think of what I was saying with yeah, sometimes it's just all of a sudden it's like hit into a dead end. Like, I can't even think of what I was talking about. Self-esteem. Well, self-esteem is like, so with the kids and stuff, like, well, I think we're going to be moving into a completely different way of how people are going to adjust to this new life, this new way of being. It's going to be a completely kind of different way, where I think people are going to not be like, oh, I'm going to run and jump into a relationship. I'm 13, 14 years old, and, miss out on my whole childhood, miss out on my whole independent time of going out and figuring out who I am and enjoying myself and going on adventures and meeting people. It's like writing your story. Like, why do you want to be tied down too early, where people are having kids and then they're frustrated. They feel they've missed out on their life. They're not developed enough as a person to be a good parent, so they're frustrated. So, we've got to change that stuff. We are the ones who have to do it. And yeah, the thing I was gonna say, because with the I think it is important. Like, if the people who are out having fun and stuff, I don't know, there's just some kind of detachment going on with these people just out drunk and obviously not caring about themselves, obviously not taking care of themselves, like just out there, acting silly in the streets and overly sexualized, which I'm so fucking sick of the shows just pushing this. Before I would be more like you kind of just accept all this stupid sex stuff in all these shows. But then once you know the agenda, it's like it really turns your stomach. It's like, oh my God, this is so annoying. All they want us to do is be a bunch of fucking idiotic perverts who don't give a crap what's done to us and like completely cut off from each other. It's so depraved. But, but it's all, the development of each person and becoming stronger in who they are. And, and as people do that and become strong in who they are, see, they don't have to go through these shitty relationships. They won't go out and get drunk and act stupid because they will be comfortable with themselves just in a sober position rather than having to, like, like I gotta, what is that called? Release their insecurities, or there's something that people will say, like, that holds them back from being their real self. So they'll drink to release that so that they can find their real self. It's like you gotta find your real self without that. You gotta, and your real self is, you just get back in touch with your childlike self. The side of yourself that was more interested in exploration than, worrying about some of the things, like as you become older and you start worrying about what people think of you, worrying if you said this right, worrying if you said that wrong. It's just this, at some point, you're just like under this microscope or something in life where you feel like you're just dissected. And, I don't know, people just become super raw and emotional. And I think that is the whole way that they're able to sell so much of this feel good. Here's an oxy. Here's run down and get a bottle of, get a 7 and 7 or whatever, some kind of alcohol or whatever, because then you can feel good. But anybody who's used alcohol to coping mechanism for any kind of problems know, like, as soon as you sober up, there's a problem. And then you probably made the complication by doing something stupid when you were drunk anyways, because, you're trying to hide from your feelings and hide from whatever it is. Instead, just face this stuff. And I don't know, like, I mean, when I see some of these people out there doing some of the stuff that they're doing, it's like that is where I see, like, oh, these are like the lower vibration, they're just out there living to have a good time right now. They're not here for the next part. They're just here to have fun and, then they're leaving or something. I don't know. There could be some that are going to go through a huge trauma and then will heal. But it's so, like, disconnected from the world. How they just have, like, I don't know. You have these people that are just focused on all of this horrible stuff, just focused on it all day long, just reporting about it. And I would be, it would be horrible to be in Ohio right now. But I mean, it's not even just there. I mean, it's everywhere. And then they're just, slamming the whole thing. Like, and then you don't even know how much of it is just made up. It's like, oh my gosh, it's so mental. Like, even with the dye stuff, like, I mean, they can tell us. I mean, they can tell us to age and we'll age. They can tell us that there's poison in it, and we're going to feel like we're poisoned. But, you know, I still go back to the whole thing. Like that guy said, if it were just in our minds, then how are my animals doing the same thing? And that's what I kept being with Stella. It's like, if this is just in my mind, then how does this keep being? Like, that her and I keep having these same kind of symptoms all the time. And that this stuff, like, I was 100% when it started being like I was having symptoms of being sick and I was never being around anybody. And that has been, you know, that's a beautiful thing when people are like, well, you've got this sickness. It's like, where did I get it? How did I get it then? It just came knocking on my door. I opened the door and it came right in. Like, think about it. It's not sickness. It's fucking symptoms. It's like symptoms from toxins and chemicals and fucking frequency. It's fucking murdering us. So, anyways, yeah, there is stuff going on under the ground. Like, there's plenty of people, like, in the comments and stuff where I've seen saying, yeah, there's stuff going on. I'm hearing stuff. I'm seeing things. You know, there's other people. And then you still have the people, no matter what, that have to go around telling everybody, no, no, no. You know, it's like, you gotta let go. Whatever it is you're holding on to, you know? I don't know, but you got to let go. This world is not what you think it is, and no matter how much you want to hold it on, and you know you're going to, it's going to fall apart. It's going to explode because it can't. It's fake. It's phony. Nothing is real. Nothing you've ever been told is real. It's all fake. Oh, and after I had said that about that pilot, I guess that was a new video because it went viral. And so now there's a big old thing about this Delta pilot who's gone viral saying the earth is flat. But those are the things. It's going to keep going like that. It's going to keep being like, everything is going to keep coming out. There is no hiding things, or it is, no matter how slow it's going or how clumsy it all happens or whatever, it's going to keep going. It's all going to keep exposing itself. Just like the stuff with like O'Keefe and stuff like that. To me, just bringing certain people out onto the stage brings attention to certain things. So to keep bringing up certain names and keep bringing up certain situations, get certain names to keep, you know, where people are like, who is that guy? Like, well, I got to see who this guy is. And it is so hard for the people who are still in the mind trap. But there is a lot of them who are coming out and trying to, you know, instead of paying attention. I mean, the stuff is going on. They can't deny some of the stuff going on, but they keep wanting to say it's something else and keep wanting to look at this other side. So everything is going to keep going, like all the things. You're not going to be able to hide from it. Where they were telling people that they were crazy, talking about they're spraying stuff in the sky, like so many people being told they're crazy and that's blah, 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 which is so mental, especially when you see some of these skies that the people are being told this on. It's like, this is mental. How can you look at this much stuff and think it's natural? But all of the people who have been saying that, see, and being called crazy, now all these things, you know, are coming out, coming out, coming out. How can you keep denying it? It's like I keep saying, it's got to keep getting crazier and more absurd and more ridiculous. Like, I just saw Joe sitting there talking. I think he was fucking talking in the crane, and it's a crane flag, some other probably UN flag, and an American flag. Oh, the three of them. I was like, he's trying to be like the uniting us in this corrupt thing. And now we got, China is calling them out. China is, and so is Russia. They're all calling them out and saying, no, we're not doing this. Y'all, you are doing this, all of it. And so that's another thing where people are going to have to see all these people who worship the crane now is being exposed. Like, no, it's this corruption. It's like the corruption. They're going together to try and take on everybody else. But also because there's really another group in charge, and that is why we have, you know, people walking around in masks and shit. But as those that's why certain things are exposed in certain ways. Like, they can't, this isn't their controlled disclosure, you know what I mean? So the way things are going to keep going, like I said, like even with Twitter, it seems like it's kind of a controlled thing because there's so many of us who still aren't allowed on. I'm not the only one. And right now, too, this is crazy. Like, I've seen a lot of people on TikTok talking about their accounts being messed with. Mine's being totally messed with right now. But one of the things that is so ridiculous, too, is, you know, you do a video, like a 2-3 second video. It says something that you can go viral super easy. Like, there's certain things you can go viral super easy. Like, I've had a lot of videos, and I bet I could have one every single day. I bet I could have more than one every single day. I've had it before. And so I've done a lot of these little short ones. And there's some that 12 views, 12 views. There's 2 of them that have 12 views in 2 days. So, yeah, I think that they are, if I do a video that's less than 15 seconds or something, I think they are also holding those ones back and striking them because they're doing everything they can to keep us, certain people, in the shadows. And that's why I said when everything blows up, when everything goes, it is going to seem like, man, where did these people come from? How are these people saying this? Why didn't I hear this before? It's like we were all out there talking. This is what censorship is all about. This is what, you know, those of us who are out there talking can't be heard. And then you've got all this shallow, superficial, pervy shit that's just flooding everything. You know, the pervy stuff, like I guess Instagram is just full of it too, but on TikTok too. And then they're going to censor those of us, like telling people to love each other. Like, oh, okay, wow, that's crazy. That's what is that? Oh, extremist. Yeah, that's extremist talk there. Love your neighbor. Oh, you're so extreme. You're so extreme. So, anyways, you know, there is no safe zone. There is only, your only safe zone is inside of you, to know that you're protected, to know that you are safe. And every single thing happening is for you to show yourself these things. So don't, you know, and it's scary. Like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it's not. When these fucking winds are going and the trees are going and you know how wet the ground is and all these trees are dead and stuff, it's scary as shit. It's like, oh my God, is one about to crash through my house? If that happens, I've got to just like not even go to any of those things and know, like, no matter what, I'll be fine. You know, that's the thing, is that you got to keep telling yourself, you're going to be fine, you're going to be fine. And if you're not, if you are, you know, that's what was always supposed to happen. That was your plan. Nothing happens by accident. Got to keep telling yourself that. Yeah, I'm telling you, it may sound crazy, but you will find comfort at some point to keep telling yourself, oh, I did this stuff. Nobody's doing it to you. You're not a victim to the universe. You're not a victim to a God in the sky that hates you. You are a soul with a little ego that is challenging themselves in some pretty incredible situations. And there's a great thing that comes from all of the challenge is your expansion of self. And so there's purpose to everything you do. Every contact you make with every single person, you're playing a part. You're being a something for them and they're being something for you. When somebody is being something for you, don't just be all caught up in it. It can only be the nice ones. I only want the nice ones around. I only want the ones who say nice stuff to me. The nice ones aren't going to challenge you to grow. So the nice ones are your break. You don't want to just discount the ones that challenge you. You may need to take a break from the ones that challenge you, but the ones that challenge you are the ones that are going to help you grow. Those ones are the ones that are going to push you to your limits, to push you into who you are. You know, so just keep that in mind when you make decisions over who you want to cut out of your life and stuff. So, and, you know, just be strong and just know nothing is going to happen that wasn't always meant to happen. There is no accidents, and you're eternal and you're safe, and you just go from one reality to the next. And as a matter of fact, we're all in different realities right now. So anyways, stay strong and stay safe and don't be scared. I'll talk to you later. Bye.